Alright, today I'm going to show you how to make a DIY brine shrimp hatchery. It's a lot cheaper than buying a hatchery online, and also it works just as well. Sometimes the ones you buy online break, and this is so cheap that it doesn't even matter, you can just make a new one. Okay, first thing is 2 sports drinks bottles or any size water bottle. Anything from whatever size you need for your hatchery. If you're hatching a lot of brine shrimp, then you're probably going to want to use 2-liter bottles. If you're hatching less, then you use a smaller bottle. I find this is perfect for this amount of brine shrimp that I hatch. You're going to need a small length of airline hosing, an air pump, silicone, aquarium grade silicone, drill bits. A 1/4-inch drill bit is what you need, and then hot glue. You also need a small light, or if you have a small micro heater like the ones that they sell for betables, which the only use that they really have for is perfect for a brine shrimp hatchery and not a beta bowl. And then that's about it. This first bottle you're gonna cut the bottom off of. This is the part where the brine shrimp go. This is the hatchery part. You just kind of this bottle you're gonna cut the top off of. This is gonna be the stand for your hatchery. Right now you're going to take the cap to your hatchery part and drill in the center of the cap a 1/4-inch hole. Try to go slowly because you don't want to break the plastic. Now you got your hole in the center of it. Right, next you're going to take the hatchery that has the top off of it and the cap that you just drilled into it. Make sure that both sides are dry because the silicone will cure too quickly and unevenly. And you're just going to, along the inside of the threading, just goop a bunch of silicone in there. Right, now that you got all that silicone gooped in there, you're just going to screw it on there nice and tightly. Make sure the threading is on correctly. Get on there nice and tight. Or in this case, there you go. Not too tight to where you thread it out though, because then that's not going to be good. Right now, it should be sealed in the bottom. You can come back and put some more silicone along the outside edge here, if you would like. Right, next is to put the airline hosing through the lid. You can let the silicone cure a little bit or just go for it. The trick is to cut the airline hosing at an angle so it goes through the hole easier. You can slide it right on through there. But what I suggest is you put a little bit of silicone on the tube itself and then shove it through, because it will push silicone onto both sides of the hole, effectively sealing it. I also just took a pencil and put a little more silicone on the inside of the airline hosing, and then smoothed out the airline hosing on this side. And now you're just going to let this cure for the cure time, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now you're going to drill a hole through the bottom of your base. This is a little hard because it's a rounded surface. Just go slow. I would make it a little bit bigger by greening it out. So now that you've kind of made the hole bigger than the airline tubing, so it has a little bit of wiggle room, take this top part, this airline hosing that's sticking out here, and might have to, depends on how, this is a little older hole line tubing, so it's a little stiff, but you can try to get it through that hole there. Okay, there we go. And then you feed your hosing through. And then now you can snug this up onto there. Now the next step is to fire up the hot glue gun. Alright, I went to plug in my air pump, figured out it wasn't working, and I opened it up and the magnet motor had broken off of its seating on the inside. And those of you who don't know what's inside of an air pump or how it works, it's essentially a little like bladder-like thing here that has a magnet here that moves in between these two magnets because these two have the same polarity as this. And then this just is charged by electricity, and it charges these magnets so it moves in between them. So then it just moves it back and forth and presses the air out through your thing here because this is being pushed back and forth, so it's like a bellows. So it goes back and forth. I'm gonna glue this back in place and it should be fixed. Alright, I've hot glued it back in there with a little bit of super glue too. Just to like hold it in there first, and then I just pumped a bunch of hot glue in there to keep it from moving around. And I'll show you, I'll plug it in real quick and show you guys how it works. Okay, so you can see how this moves back and forth between the two magnets, and it presses this air here. It's a lot faster than it is on camera because obviously the limitation with the frames per second on this camera. And then the air comes out of here. As you can see, when I hold it, it goes less. Obviously because there's more pressure within this bladder thing here. There's sorry I went on a tangent, but there's a little bit extra knowledge about aquarium equipment. Okay, now you can hook this up, the airline hose, to your air pump. Make sure it's nice and tight on there. And now your system is complete. You can make this hose as shorter as long as you want. I like to go short, so then I can, what I do is I'm gonna, when my brine shrimp are ready, I'm going to just disconnect it here at the air pump, and then I can just drain the brine shrimp out of the tube into whatever feeding vessel I'm going to be using. I forgot to mention, if you want to put a no-clog air stone in there, that works too, but I usually just let the air bubbles going through there just aerate it. So whatever you want to do, you can use a no-clog air stone if you'd like to have smaller bubbles, because those big bubbles are definitely gonna create some surface agitation. Also, if you would like, you can put a no return valve on here, so if the water does go back down the hose, it doesn't go into your air pump. I'm not gonna do that, but you can if you would like. Okay, your brine shrimp hatchery is done. If you don't know how to hatch brine shrimp, I have a video on how to do that. you can now put a light above it to provide heat and help the eggs hatch. Or if you want to just bypass that and use the heater and use the surrounding light in your house to help hatch, that works too. If this video was hatchful or if you liked it, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, where you can find a video on how to breed the hatch brine shrimp, sorry, and other aquarium stuff like this.